Hi everyone, Steve here. Welcome, good morning to this issue of Monday Morning Musings. Today I want to talk to you through another object lesson. I call this the gospel of the arrow. How does an arrow work? There are three parts to an arrow. There's the arrowhead, the shaft, and the fletching. And they each perform a different function. All the energy of that bow, when it's released, passes through the shaft of the arrow, into the head of the arrow, and when that head, the arrow tip, the arrowhead, meets resistance, it penetrates. The fletching keeps the arrow stable in flight. The head is the thing that leads the arrow, as it were. The shaft and the fletching follow the head of the arrow. And the shaft is what gives the whole enterprise substance. The shaft essentially carries the head and carries the fletching. And together, when energy is applied, an arrow works. There's a verse that says, perhaps the most common evangelical verse in the scriptures. For God so loved the world that he gave his only beloved Son, that whosoever should believe in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. In the West, because of influences from the Enlightenment, the Renaissance, the Reformation, we present the gospel as information. How did God present the gospel? Number one, it begins with love. For God so loved. Love is the arrowhead. Love is the thing that we lead with. We don't lead with the Bible. We don't lead with information. We lead with love. Number two, that he gave his beloved Son. That love is incarnated in a person. That beloved Son is like the shaft of the arrow. It's the whole package. He's the whole package. In a sense, the person of the Son is what the point is trying to deliver. Love makes penetration, and the person of Jesus is made known or delivered. And the fletching is like the teaching or the beliefs, what we believe. He that believes, believing. Well, how are they going to know what to believe unless you teach them? Teachings, doctrines, are the things that keep the arrow stable in flight so it doesn't go cuckoo. And so it actually hits the target. The problem is your typical evangelical message is like shooting an arrow backwards, because we put the fletching on the front end. We put information on the front end. We give people stuff to believe and tell them if they believe right, they're going to go to heaven when they die, and so forth. And I don't buy this argument. Well, the way I love people is I just warn them about hell. We got to talk about hell. and keep them out of hell and keep them out of hell. That's the way you love people. You by telling them the truth is the way you love people. No, that is a religious cop-out for cold-hearted people. No greater love has the man than this, than he lays down his life for his brother. That includes brother in the faith and includes all of humanity, because that is what Jesus did for us. We lead with love, not information. God so loved the world, he gave his son. And that son, that incarnate son, brought the truth, the fletching, the thing that makes the arrow fly straight and hit the mark. So as something as basic as John 3, we normally don't even get right. We just think if we hammer people with fletching, if we throw enough feathers at them, we're loving them. We're loving them because we're telling them about there's no human investment in that. There's no incarnation in that. And to a great extent, that's why there's no penetration. Now, even the admired Billy Graham admitted that 97% of the people that so-called gave their heart to Jesus in a crusade could not be found anywhere in any church assembly 2 years later. By saying that Billy Graham wasn't motivated by love? No, we leave those judgments alone. We leave those judgments to the Father. I'm talking about you and me, and I'm talking about that what we see and what we think how things should be done. And Billy said in a private conversation with somebody that I know personally who had a private conversation with Billy Graham, and Billy said if he had to do it all over again, he would not have done crusades. The arrow must have love at the tip. The arrow of the gospel message must have those components. You can't put the tip at the end. You can't put the fletching in the middle. You can't put the shaft at the front. It has to be structured according to the way God himself presented it so simply in John chapter 3. But love is costly, difficult, at times painful, unrewarding. So, when somebody starts talking to me about evangelism or revival, if it's just more of the same, yakety, yakety, yakety about Bible fletching, yakety, 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 no incarnational life, no love arrow tip, not interested. We have a lot of unlearning to do and a lot of relearning to do, a lot of practice. So let's make sure that when we are engaging with people, that we are leading with love, and don't buy into that delusion that just throwing information at them, like lobbing a truth bomb over the fence of their life, is loving them. That's the way we love them. We just tell them about Jesus. No. We invest in them. We manifest that love. We show compassion. We feed. We clothe. We encourage. Well, somebody's going to say, what about that one-off conversation? You know, I meet somebody on the bus and I'm never going to see him again. Listen carefully. Don't make the exceptions the rules. Of course there's exceptions. Well, what about the Ethiopian eunuch? Philip never saw him again. He just told them the truth. Don't make the exceptions the rules. If their circumstances are such where you have that chance conversation? Of course. But don't normalize chance conversations. Well, I don't believe in chance. I believe in every conversation is designed by God. Fine. I'm going to stand on the way God said to do it. First, he loved. He sent a son, and that son instructed us. I think that is the arrow of the gospel, and I think that's the order that we should normally follow. I'll see you next time.